So, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World picks up pretty much right after How to Train Your Dragon 2. Of course, what I'm gonna say next constitutes a bit of a spoiler for previous movies, but here we go. Yes, Stoic is dead circa the end of How to Train Your Dragon 2, which means that his son, who's been the main character of this whole shebang since the first movie, is now Chief. With that comes the extra baggage of extra dragons, because since Drago, the main baddie from How to Train Your Dragon 2, since his defeat, they not only got the dragons they accrued from the first film, they got the dragons they accrued from the second as well, and on top of that, they are still saving dragons from the big dragon poaching army that we had established in this. Actually, not really established. Established dragon leads in the previous film, and that still wants to do the dragon army bit despite the fact that Drago's no longer in the picture. Weird, but okay, let's roll with it. Q, of course, on top of that, a new guy who is at first a pretty cool dude, right? He's this badass. He's a legitimate badass who waltz in like he owns the place, and after you meet him, you see every reason he would think that. And yeah, he's an extra threat. He's an extra problem and obstacle to deal with, of course. And so on top of trying to be a chief, on top of trying to figure out what to fit all the Vikings and the dragons, Hiccup, poor little guy, has to deal with this guy who is hell bent on hunting more dragons. Like, wow. Okay, so cue a flashback to Stoic telling young Hiccup about this hidden world, which is apparently the homeland of all the dragons or something like that. Yeah, of course, this launches the whole group into a quest to find the hidden world. Yeah, which is cool and all of that, and pretty much is the main driving point of the story, to find a safe place for the Berk Vikings and dragons alike, safe from all the poachers, all the people who want to hunt and just straight up just kill their dragons, all that good stuff. And yeah, and we have our setup, if you will. So let's pro-con this thing. Pros, this movie looks great. Actually it does. The clean, clear, and sort of mix of kind of realistic and kind of cartoonish style that they had going from the first movie got really beefed up this time. Like, the characters look, older characters now look better as well. The character models themselves, just the animation overall has been improving, but at the same time they've been improving, but they've been keeping the art style. It's great. It's really, really good to see. As a final movie to this series, this is actually a very genuinely satisfying conclusion, I think. Not to get ahead of myself, I guess, but it is a very satisfying conclusion. The characters are great, as always. Fun, varied characters. They fall into their little archetypes, of course, but they do what they do because they need to do what they do, and it's pretty fun. The dragon designs. I absolutely love the dragon's designs in this film. I loved them back in the first one, I loved them in the previous one, and I definitely love them here. I love everything about these dragons. I love the way they look, I love the way they move, their colors, their shapes. The fact that it seems like every single dragon, almost, to an extent, I mean, I get that there's like subspecies and stuff, but it seems like almost every single dragon is unique in some respect, and the art style, again, because it is this film's art style, flowing into these dragon designs, it feels so fresh and refreshing and different from everything you've seen, well, everything I've seen before, I suppose. And yeah, I just love it. I just love it. And from dragons onto the new dragon hunter, if you will, the main baddie, if you will, of this flick, who initially is actually pretty cool and badass. I mean, and legitimately a legitimately intimidating villain. I love that. I loved his introduction to us as an audience and to our characters as well, our protagonists, because He came on as a legitimate threat. It's great. It's just also pretty great. Kudos to this film. Kudos to the initial introduction of the character, I guess. Okay, on the side of the cons, there's a bit too much faffing about. Yeah, a major subplot, and I do mean major because it seems to eat up half the film's runtime, is the fact that, oh wow, oh my goodness, Toothless is not the last one of his kind, even though technically the quote-unquote Night Fury they find is not exactly a Night Fury, it's like a different subspecies again, and she looks gorgeous. Yeah, of course, a female of the species. He's the last male, she's the last female of her, whatever, cool stuff, and she looks gorgeous. I love it. Again, the dragon design thing kind of coming in. It's great, but with that, we just have the movie at way too many points just take a pause for us to watch what amounts to just effectively Toothless trying to helplessly and hopelessly impress this girl, I guess. It's kind of cute, it's kind of funny, but the way it just brings everything to a halt every time we switch our attention to it is just, yeah, I don't know, not a big fan, I guess. And then, of course, with that, when we do get back to the plot, when we do get more of our villain, turns out he's just another guy who wants to hunt and kill dragons. Seriously, that's it. That's his entire thing. Oh no, I'm a big badass who wants to kill dragons. Brar. Nothing else to him. Nothing. Zero depth. Zero depth. And zero planning, it seems. Because, like, it's really strange, this, because I feel it's some editing issue, because on one occasion he sort of seems to have this big elaborate plan set out, and then, you know, plot advances and suddenly he's just reduced to pretty much having a bit of just sheer dumb luck land in his lap that progresses his ambition to his final goal. What plan? What happened to the plan? No. Yeah. And yeah, I guess I should cap it off with the old staple of this movie is pretty predictable. Yes, the moment you hear certain key phrases, the moment you hear certain key plot points, the moment the setup starts truly rolling, right, the whole thing, you know exactly where it's going, you know exactly what it wants to go for, you know exactly where this movie is trying to lead us to. But at the same time, it's also trying to surprise us. But just give me the story. Don't try to do the whole big reveal surprise thing, please. Just don't. Just keep going. So yeah, I guess final verdict probably is that as a final chapter to a pretty solid trilogy, this has been a pretty good time. I, despite my gripes, have thoroughly enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind watching it again. I wouldn't mind watching the whole 3 movies again. I wouldn't mind even dabbling into the TV series, which I completely ignored over the years. So I might actually dabble into that because it sounds like it's actually pretty fun. So it's definitely worth your time. Definitely give it a chance. Definitely check it out. But definitely watch 1 and 2 first, for obvious reasons, you know. And yeah, that's really it. I've taken up enough of time here, and we'll see how I handle the next movie review. Hey, new year, new resolutions, new everything, I guess. Bye-bye.